Apex Legends, like all video games, has a lot of bugs. There are small harmless bugs that don't really do much or are just outright funny, and there are some bugs that give the user a leg up against the competition, allowing them to be exploited for an unfair advantage. I have gone through countless amounts of old footage to bring you all the 10 most game-breaking exploits in Apex history. If I missed one, make sure to remind me in the comments. Let's jump into it. Number 10 on this list is pretty tame in comparison to the rest of them, but definitely worth mentioning. Every once in a while there are broken spots in the map geometry that allows the user to clip through and hide within them, usually with the ability to see the enemies from inside. The three most notable ones that came to mind is the spot in King's Canyon, where you could climb behind the vines and just not take damage. Unlike the rest of the spots, you were visible to enemies, and this was even used in the Apex Legends preseason invitational in Poland. Other than that, we have this infamous spot on Storm Point where you could easily clip under the bridge and hide out with your enemies being none the wiser. And a lesser known one for the non-Apex veterans is this rock on World's Edge, which is big enough to house an entire team and surprise anyone who might be walking by. To make matters worse, there's a few endgames that finish around this area, meaning it was especially useful in some sweatier lobbies. Moving on to number 9, we have the rapid fire exploits, where the user could shoot a gun with zero delay between the shots. This exploit has taken form in several points of Apex history, starting with the Mastiff, which allowed you to almost instantly empty an entire magazine if you inspected the weapon in between every shot. Some users bound inspect to the scroll wheel or made macros to make the most use out of this. The same flavor of rapid fire also applied to the Sentinel, which at one point allowed you to not only bypass the slight delay between shots, but not having to pull back the bolt as well. This was achieved by spamming your charge button in between every shot. This isn't the first time we'll see the charge weapons in this video, but more on that later. On to number 8, we have another rapid exploit, but this time we're talking about the punches. This exploit comes back in all shapes and sizes and allows the user to spam their punches on unsuspecting enemies, cancelling the delay between every punch by resetting the character's timer, usually by using an ability or interacting with something. The most known ones have used ziplines in between every punch, but there's a few instances where ziplines just weren't necessary. The craziest version of the fast punch exploit was super fast, launch you into an enemy, and only required you to use your held ultimate, such as Caustics or Horizons, and then you just instantly punch afterwards. This allowed you to punch just as fast as you can, do the combo. Also, speaking of punches, make sure to punch that like button so the video can reach more people. Next up at number 7 is the floating jump pad exploit that actually made a comeback in season 13. The first iteration of this allowed you to throw a Horizon tactical under a jump pad to send it flying straight upwards, only to continue floating as the gravity lift expired. As for the comeback, we found that Newcastle's energy barrier can have things stuck to it, and if the barrier is moving when it goes down, the stuck item will continue in whatever direction the energy barrier was moving. Naturally, this meant you could stick a jump pad on top of it and just stay on top of it to climb to infinite heights. If you guys want to see more of this after this video, I have linked the video in the description. This exploit allowed you to make a portal for as far as 1,000 meters away. The user would need to make a series of steps involving a grenade, revenant totem, and another exploit which included the Octane and a jump pad. In short, this exploit was a combination of a few bugs to make, well, the most out of it. As Wraith, you want to take the revenant ultimate and go as far as possible before the timer would run out, throw a grenade on yourself, start your portal, and then place it when you return to the totem. This would allow you to go a lot farther than the 100 meters that the Wraith portal normally allows you to stretch. But users took this to the next level with the Octane jump pad exploit, which allowed you to fly across the map with a trident by placing a jump pad inside of the bin and driving into it. I promise you guys there will be more about the charge up weapons such as the Sentinel or Rampage exploit, so here we go. These two weapons are the definition of spaghetti code, especially when it comes to the charge up mechanic. On number 5 we have the charge up exploits, which keep coming back in so many different ways. The first and most prominent one was the infinite charge up exploit. Users found out that if you simply drop the thermite or shield cells from your inventory when doing the charge up animation, the gun would get charged but the item wouldn't be consumed, allowing you to constantly keep powering up your weapon without any cost. The next one is the actual infinite charge up. This could be accomplished by charging the weapon, holstering your weapons, going into inventory, and then swapping the weapons positions, then followed by you dropping the Rampage or Sentinel on the floor. Once this gun was picked up, the charge never ran out, no matter what you did. To round off the charge up exploit, there also was a way to instantly charge up your weapon, skipping a 1 second or so animation. This was accomplished by playing a legend such as Octane or Pathfinder, where your tactical locks you into an animation, using said ability and instantly charging up your weapon. Spaghetti code. On to number 4, we have an infinite heat shield glitch. When done right, this exploit refunded your heat shield, allowing you to throw infinite heat shields out. This was accomplished by throwing a heat shield on the ground and then placing a caustic barrel on top of it, allowing you to continuously throw heat shields on the ground. This was heavily abused in ranked, but there was some risk to it, as if you missed the timing and you were outside of zone, you are out of heat shields and probably will die in the ring. This Octane glitch allowed you to basically speed hack, where you could infinitely drop Octane stims to increase your speed by 40% every time, scaling up to hundreds or thousands of percent speed increase to go to speed hacker velocities. This worked because there wasn't a check in place to stop you from stacking up your own speed boost, and since you don't die if you stim at a low HP, it could be used infinitely. As for the stim animation delay, users popped their stim and then instantly threw a holo spray on the ground to reset the animation and then just stim again.
I'm very quiet right now because that's the best one we got so far.
On to number 2, we have the most absurd exploit on this list, and actually was a close contest with the next one. Crypto has several interactions where users could use their abilities in combination with his drone, such as Pathfinder using a grapple to fly around on top of it. When Rampart was released, players realized that this actually worked with her ultimate as well. Users simply threw a crypto drone close enough for the Rampart to place it on top of it, and then mounted to fly around, beaming players with what was dubbed the AC-130. You could take this to the next level by using the tridents and driving the crypto around following the Rampart as not to max out the drone's effective range. And finally, on to number 1, we have the second most absurd exploit, but definitely the most useful one on this list. This exploit allowed the user to infinitely use the Wraith Tactical, letting you survive outside of zone and after the final ring has closed to just win the game by default. This infinite Wraith phase exploit was doable by starting a portal, starting a phase, and then placing the portal right when your tactical animation starts. You then punched in the middle of the phase to reset everything, so you could spam it and stay inside of the phase basically infinitely. Some users also took this to the next level and used either scripts or macros to make sure that they never messed it up. This glitch was all over ranked and made it unplayable back in the day, and it took a while, but eventually Respawn fixed it. That was it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe not to miss any of the new daily uploads, and if you want to see more about the Newcastle Octane jump pad glitch that we mentioned earlier, check out the video on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.